Things to be aware of organizing eRacing Championship without race room. First, no automated leaderboard would always be labor intensive. Elimination round would be the only way to filter the winners. Having the participants adhering to the schedule would be a huge test. We need to know the task will get bigger when participants increases. Time consuming. Organizing eRacing Championship without race room, it's all need run manually to take down the participants and eliminate them from first round group to final round group. Because it is manual human labor, there bound to be human error. Manual human labor would have a price tag for the man-hours involved. New participants would never have chance. The eRacing clubs in the world will send their best racers to participate the race. But that means your championship exposure is just limited to the eRacing clubs. Why choose race room? R3E official championship have fully automated leaderboard. Participants can log in anytime to leave the fastest lap time within the qualifying period. Each of the racers already have their ranks with race room. Next, save time. You can have unlimited amounts of participants in a super short time to qualifying them to final race. Race room can cover unlimited amount of participants. We have a full automated esports ecosystem from qualifying leaderboard to broadcast AI. Besides, race room's free contents lets everyone can participate to the race.
Thank you to all the sponsors who are supporting eRacing GP. Amazingly, we are into Season 4. Amazingly, we're still in COVID season. And just a reminder that this season, eRacing GP is raising funds to support charities, helping communities hit hardest by COVID-19 in Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, and Indonesia, our main market. You can help by donating or creating your own fundraising page. Visit simplygiving.com. Search for Race for a Cause. Race for a Cause, simplygiving.com. So, Alex, it's not only great fun, but it is racing for a cause.
Yes, exactly right. And it's it's good to do this right now. You know, we've been really blessed with the things we've been doing this year, having the community come in, do some good racing as well. So time to give back a little bit. And yeah, it's just great. We're all about community engagement, aren't we?
He's a lovely fella, this fella, Alex Young. Don't believe everything you hear about him. Anyway, to the racing itself, Alex, and we've now got the silver and the gold edition coming on. Season 4, I can't believe that we started. And we've got some familiar names. We've got Harris Zeffi, got Triple L Leo Young. You've got Rinaldi, who drove so well in the long race, the endurance race last week, and Mark Voltaire Elman, plus Voltaire Sayco, who, if I recall, had a very good season last year.
Yeah. So, and we're with the GT3 cars now for silver, which is quite different. You look at Syahmi's car right now in the chrome Mercedes. It's beautiful looking indeed. And of course, we're at Shanghai.
Indeed. You mentioned Shanghai. We have got a flying lap with the one and only Miko Nasi, who we'll see just a little bit later on. Should we have a look around Shanghai and see the thrills and spills that it brings on board with Miko?
All right, welcome to the Shanghai International Circuit here. I'm driving the DTM 2020 car on Race Room Racing Experience. I believe this is the Audi RS5. And now driving the start-finish straight, I'm going to take you for a lap around the track. Turn 1 here is tricky. You got to turn the car in first before you brake so you get some rotation for the really, really long right-hand corners 1 and 2. And then the track dips down aggressively here for turn 3. Super difficult to get on the power. And that's the exit of turn 4, I believe. Coming up to the kink, turn 5. Look for the curb on the left for your braking point. For the hairpin here, another really difficult traction zone, trying to get on the power. Try to straighten the wheel out so you don't get too much wheel spin and oversteer. And then 2 really quick corners coming up. Critical to control the speed with your throttle here. And gently brake for the right-hand corner. And you want to take care of your tires here, because if you've overheated your tires, you'll really struggle through the double left here. Car will want to start sliding around, and then really patiently getting on the power here. Good. We're heading up to turn 11. A slow left-hand corner that leads immediately onto a slow right. Important to set yourself up nicely, because we'll be getting onto the back straight soon. First, we got a really long banked right-hand corner here. This car has so much power, you still have to be nice and gentle on the throttle. You can't just slam it down like you can in some cars there. And we finally get a little bit of a breather here on the back straight. We'll be approaching 280 kilometers before we brake for the corner at around 120 meters, right around there. And I think I missed the braking point a tiny bit, but it's alright. Very slow corner. Get the car rotated, get the car super straight for the exit. Lots of power. And the final corner coming up here, really tricky with a crest right around your turn-in point. Easy to invalidate the lap there as well if you run out a little bit too far on the right-hand side. And that was a lap of Shanghai International Circuit. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the races.
So on board there with Miko Nasi, a good lap as well from Miko. We'll be seeing him just a little bit later. The two long straights here really give opportunities for overtaking, Alex, or am I reading it wrong?
Yeah, so we've had some cracking races here in the past because of those long straights. You can slipstream. Also the cone onto the long back straight, the parabolic. That's a place you can do several lines so you can try and overtake. And this, remember our very first Global Edition, the Season 0, the very, very first one? We had a cracking race here where we had the drivers battling all the way to the very last corner of the race. Anyway, practice is over.
And we're about to go into qualifying. One or two new names for us as well. Azuka Langley, that's a rather splendid name. Marv Dondekembe is a regular for us, but the man who was fastest in practice was Jun Cheng-Ung. Let's get along with Cheng-Ung and see how he gets away. Let's do your own little lap alongside Jun, Alex.
Yeah, so here we go with Jun down to turn one. Turn one, you really got to brake after you turn in and just kind of hold the brake through the corner very lightly as it slows down. Then you get on the power just a little bit before turn two at the top here. Then you got to get back on the brake straight away. Very easy to overcook it through turn two. And then turn three. Small brake. Oh, and he's just gone off.
Let's start again. So Harris Zeffi is probably around about the same part. Or Mark Darwin is.
Yeah, let's watch Mark Darwin. Mark Darwin is a real life driver. He's he's a really, arguably the best, one of the best, or the best touring car drivers from Malaysia. This is his first sim race, and he was very quick on the leaderboard, the weekly leaderboard to qualify for this race. So he's been looking very good. Turn 6 then, that hairpin he's just come out of, and now into turn 7 and 8. Turn 7, this left-hander, very fast. Can go through there with the lift. Now for turn 8, small brake. You've got to get some weight on the front of the car so it rotates here, otherwise you can understeer wide. Through turns 9 and 10 now. 9, oh, he's missed the apex. That's going to cost him time. If you get 9 right, you can be full throttle through turn 10. Looked a little bit messy, not as clean as he would have wanted.
But he's still fastest through sector 1.
He is indeed, and let's see if he continues with this lap through turns 11 and 12. Now we're at the Parabolica, which is turn 13 and now 14. Sorry, turn 13, this long corner, turn 12 and turn 13. It leads onto the back straight. Look at that long straight there, 1.3 kilometers long, I think Ammo said it was. This is where you do the overtaking. Make sure you use all the revs before you change gear so you maximize the full power band of that engine. And then turn 14. Brake super late. Oh, he's late on the brakes there.
Fastest through 2 though as well, Alex.
Fastest through 2. Look at that. Purple through 2. Now out of turn 14 and 15 is that small kink. Turn 16, this last corner.
Oh, sorry. My
missed
fault.
Him.
There he is.
Through the last corner. Shortest distance to the line. This looks good enough for pole, although it wasn't the cleanest lap. Let's see where it goes.
Pole
position, a 4-4, but it wasn't the cleanest lap. He can still go faster, so I think he is vulnerable for pole position at the moment. Let's go to Harris Zeffi, shall we? We know how quick he is. Oh, he's not done a lap. He's had to restart his lap again. Well, let's follow him. He's another driver that could challenge for pole position.
But he's got to do it this time because he's only got 2 minutes left, so he's not got many more chances, Harris Zeffi.
Nope, you're right. He has to do it now. This will be his chance. Mark Darwin, the rookie of the sim racing, the real-life racer, is on pole position at the moment. But we are on board with Harris Zeffi, who was finished third. It's at the Silver Edition last edition, remember? He finished third, so he is got to be one of the favourites today. Through turn 7 and 8. Oh, he misses the apex. Oh, not too bad, I think. I don't think it costs you too much time if you miss the apex like that, provided you can get the throttle, but that costs you time. That sideways moment through 8, that would have cost him a chunk of lap time.
Fastest through the sector, though. Is that right?
Yeah, but that would have. I'm surprised he was so sideways through that sector, turn 8. That would have cost him at least 2 or 3 tenths. But yeah, so he must have had a cracking first couple of laps to be up on Darwin at the moment.
Nips around, still fastest, 160 midway through the lap. Mark Darwin still fastest, 204. Marv Dondekembe just 1/10 down. Niogi in third place for India. We are on board here though with Haris Zeffy. Let's see what the young Malaysian can do down this long back straight.
Yeah, that's long back straight. Can I just quick take a look at Mark Darwin, see if he's purple in his sectors? Oh, he's doing some good lap times as well. As we go back to Haris Zeffy, braking for turn 14. Ooh,
fastest through sector 2.
By a long way. He's fastest through sector 2.
As he comes down into the final turn 16 before he comes into the start-finish line for the last time. 30 seconds left in qualification. He has left it fairly late, but I can tell you, Haris Zeffy Syahmi from Malaysia is not in pole position unless he goes to time. Yes, he is. Haris Zeffy in pole. Wei Seong alongside him. Mark Darwin shunted down to third place in the grid.
Yeah, wow. Great lap by Wei Seong as well there to get onto the front row. But yes, Haris Zeffy with, I thought was a pretty untidy lap, but it was quick, a 3.5.
So Haris Zeffy, you picked exactly the right man to go through. Has he been racing pretty quickly during practice in the week, Alex?
Yeah, he was. I think Zeffy was quickest on the weekly leaderboard, the qualifying leaderboard, with Mark Darwin second.
So it's an all Malaysia front row of the grid. We are in the garage for just 30 seconds or so. It's season 4, race number 1 of 5 for the season of eRacing GP. And we are at the Shanghai Grand Prix circuit. Alex Young alongside Des Corkill. Des in the dark. I'll wear something brighter next week. Apologies for that. But nonetheless, the drivers aren't in the dark. That's the most important things, Alex. And they're in cars that they like to drive.
Yeah, everyone loves the GT3 car. We ran it in the very first Global Edition, so it's nice to come back to it for the Silver Edition, for the Silver class. And look at that, that's the track map, a start-finish line at the bottom of your screen. It's a great track. It's good to be here.
Just about to get underway at the Shanghai Circuit Grand Prix. 31 degrees at track temperature. Red lights are off and we are on board with Mark Darwin for the start. Mark Darwin, as we wait for the red lights to go, we are underway. Darwin gets off to a good start. Wei Seong is left on the line. Haris Zeffy is off to a good start, but Darwin in particular has got himself into P2. So Haris off to a cracking start. Mark Darwin in P2.
Wow, he's really nailed that start. I must say I love the livery of that double O Mercedes. And he's really taken off. Mark Darwin, though, good job by him as well to be up to P2. Let's not forget, this is the first time he's doing a sim race. So for Mark Darwin to be that quick is really good indeed.
Ronaldo is doing pretty well as well. Decent start by the Indonesian in the BMW. He's in P5 as we just see him go through there. Bit of contact. Who's that dropping out? It looks like Tony Fock is going down. Tony Fock spins and Tony Fock loses just about every place that he had. And he has to start again. He'll start again from P17.
Oh dear, shame for Tony Fock from Hong Kong. Very fast driver indeed, and that's not where he should be.
And Marv Dondekembe was taken out as well. Dondekembe was in P4 on the qualification, so he's dropped down to P16. And Zuriel Sumadabilia is also struggling as well. So 3 racers who I think will have expected to do a little bit better are struggling. The good news for them, 38 minutes to go.
Yeah, Zuriel Sumadabilia in the mobile Mercedes. Quite a lot of, most people choosing the Mercedes or the BMW. But yeah, Sumadabilia, he was last season's bronze champion, and it's his first time racing silver.
Stop-go penalty for Clint Olive for overtaking under yellows. Haris Zeffy, nobody has overtaken him, and he has got himself a healthy lead. 1.2 seconds over Darwin, 2.5 seconds over Wei Seong, who's just lost P2, to Rinaldi. Rinaldi has come flying through, Alex, because there's been an issue with Wei Seong. Wei Seong has gone off, Rinaldi up to P3.
Oh, wow. I mean, these guys are really racing hard. They have to remember this is a 40-minute race we have got going right now. You can see the countdown at the top. Pit stops are not mandatory, but from what we can see, you will have to pit at least once. I was talking to some of the drivers yesterday. Some of them felt you could make a no-stop work. Means you just run the whole race without doing any stops, but you really run the risk of a puncture towards the last few laps, and also you have to really baby the tires. I don't think that's what Harris Zeffy's doing. I think he's just pushing all the way. He's planning on making a stop because he's really, really pushing at this point. And if you're pushing this hard this early in the race, there's no way you can make it the whole race without having to do a pit stop.
We'll focus on him just for now. That's him on the inset. Still got the dodgy wallpaper. We'll have words with him about that. But his focus very much on the Shanghai circuit as he comes around with a very healthy lead. 2.5 seconds, Alex.
Yeah.
This is a storming start from Harris.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be going all the way without a pit stop. I'm sure he's going to plan one midway. Darwin, we don't know enough about him to know if he's going to pit or not. This could be him driving flat out at the moment, or this could be him taking it easy. Really no idea at the moment, but he's 2 seconds behind. Some of the other guys, though, a bit behind these two, they're showing really slow pace at the moment. So I think some of the guys behind might be trying to go all the way without stopping.
Voltaire Sayco, one of those, is down in P5, but he's in a battle with Amitesh Nyogi, the Indian racer who made a bit of a smash in Season 3 of eRacing GP. On board with Voltaire Sayco in the BMW. He was just trying to get a bit of slipstream. Is he close enough, Alex?
Yeah, he's close enough for the slipstream. This is a really, really long straight. Look, he's just catching. Surprised there was a gap on the inside. He decides not to use it, so he's going to try and go on the outside. But again, if you are trying to look after those tires, you don't want to be racing too hard at this point. He does the undercut. He switches back, but oh, look at that. Nyogi's got the inside for the next corner. Wow, Nyogi's really not giving enough space there. And he's going to run wide now, and that's going to allow Sayco to get back. I got a feeling Nyogi might be annoying Sayco, especially if Sayco's trying to look after those tires, because he's probably thinking, "Look, guys, someone spins in the background. I'm looking at the long game here. I want to make the tires last." And but Nyogi's been very, very rough at the moment.
Mark Darwin back in P2. He's losing ground on Harris Zeffy. It's close to 3 seconds now, but as he looks backwards, he's got himself 1.5 seconds, maybe 2 seconds over Ronaldo as we look at the terrific graphics on Race Room. Shanghai circuit looks absolutely splendid, and everybody COVID-19 compliant, social distancing.
Yes, absolutely no crowds allowed on the track today, and you can see no, actually there are some in the grandstand, I suppose, but I'm sure they're all wearing masks.
Right, let's just have a little look at a battle involving Triple L. Leon Leo Leung, he is in the Audi, one of the few driving the Audi. He's the best of the Audi. He's got Kelvinder Singh for company, though he's managed to pull just a little bit, but Kelvinder Singh in the beautiful looking black in P8 just behind him. There's the shot that Kelvinder has got in the Callaway competition team, and Kelvinder, we're on board with him. Looks a little bit stressed in shot there, Alex.
Yeah, he's normally super relaxed, but you're right, he does look a bit stressed. Maybe he's
It also looks like it's his live. I thought he'd frozen.
No, he does look stressed. But it's good to see him back. He wasn't with us in Global Edition 3. Good to see him back for 4. He loves the Corvette. He knows it's sometimes not the fastest car on the track, although we've seen a Corvette win at Shanghai. But he just loves it. He keeps telling me about how much he loves that Corvette.
His driving's been a little bit erratic, hasn't been able to set a valid lap time yet, so obviously going off the circuit a little bit too much for his and the game's liking. 33 minutes to go. It's amazing how quickly you get into these races. Up at the front, Harris Zeffy's lead is now up to 7 seconds, Alex Young, as he goes into the start-finish line, and he will be going onto his lap number 4.
Wow. So, Zeffy showing some great form here, and if the others behind him are all planning on pitting once as well and are just pushing as hard as they can, then that's really impressive for Zeffy. Mark Darwin here in second position, the rookie to ERGP, doing a great job in second position.
We're seeing the evolution of Darwin coming from a real racer onto eRacing GP. Ronaldo is in P3, I like that one. And Voltaire Sayco is in P4. So it is spreading out just a little bit, Alex, which I didn't expect here with these vehicles or in Shanghai.
Yeah, it is spreading out a little bit. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a long race to go. I'm gonna just take a quick break here, Des, and let Amo jump in on the commentary.
Voltaire Sayco is currently in P4. Amitesh Nyogi in P5. Triple L, where we were on board with Triple L. Marv Kembe, to his credit, has come back from a very, very ropey start. He's got himself up into P8. Is quite a way down. As you can see, he's 15 seconds adrift of Haris Zephi, but he is not too far away, although he's under pressure from Jun Cheng. Jun Cheng has the inside line. Bit of contact for and he's got himself through. So Donda Kambe, having got himself up from P18 into P8, is just pushed back into P9. Amo Hazik joins us in the commentary box. Amo, apologies for the late introduction, but there's been some good racing so far.
Yeah, I think I've been watching it from a few screens I saw from the Zoom calls, for example. Yeah, it's been good so far, and I'm surprised to see that a guy like Mark Darwin, who's pretty much new to sim racing, and he is an MCS champion, the Malaysian Championship Series champion. He's used to touring cars, driving more towards a Mercedes, but switching to BMW for this one. He's doing really well. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that he has transitioned very well here, but he's got a lot of work to do here to catch up to a guy like Zephi, who looks like he wants to take the championship by storm.
So, talk to me about strategies. Haris Zephi has raced into a near 3.5 second lead. We're barely a quarter of the way through the race, not even a quarter of the way through the race. Has he gone out too quick?
I think because more towards the fact that Darwin has not acclimatized himself to the initial stages, because, you know, you try to warm up the tires from it being cold at the start. It's just Zephi just easing away a bit, and right now he's just managing the gap. He knows that he doesn't want to push these tires too hard, otherwise he might go for a stop. And knowing him, he might not actually go for that stop. He might go for a no-stopper race.
Further down, Seb Tagulo from the Philippines. He's in P11. He's chasing Wei Xiong. Did you have a chance to have a chat with Wei Xiong about what went wrong, or did you see what went wrong with Wei Xiong? Because at one stage he was in P2.
Yeah, I think he had a collision somewhere at the last turn, at turn 14. He was up in third, then he got into a contact with one of the Indonesian drivers. I think it was either Marvo, sorry, it was one of the Audi guys. It might have been Triple L. So whatever happened to Wei Xiong, it happened quickly, and now he's just dropped like a stone. Not too far back, just in 10th, but he'll be pretty disappointed. He was in third on the grid. He was on third on the grid.
You mentioned Triple L, Leon Leo Leung. He's a bronze category former champion of eRacing GP, making the transition. Is that a cracked windscreen he's got in there?
I think that might have been a collision from Wei Xiong, I believe, because I did see an Audi right at the back on the apron, the escape road from where Wei Xiong actually dropped position. So I think it was Triple L that actually whacked the rear end of Wei Xiong that caused Wei Xiong to drop further than he did, and he's got a huge amount of damage right in front of that car.
So in the game itself, if you've got a cracked windscreen, is it true to real life that that's the vision you're seeing?
Depends. If you drive on the bumper, for example, you won't see that. If you drive in the cockpit, yes, that is actually quite glaring. In fact, you can see every single facet of the crack, so it'll be quite distracting. It depends on where he's driving right now. I'm not sure which driving view he prefers, but if he's driving in cockpit right now, he can actually see that cracked windscreen.
Loving the detail and loving the work of Haris Zephi. He really has set a terrific pace in this silver and red. Yes,
yeah,
looking good, looking fine. 4.4 seconds. That's the new lead for Haris Zephi over Mark Darwin.
Yep, and in driving in the Linkin Park colours, if anyone noticed that closely. So shout out to Linkin Park there. Nice livery, of course. And meanwhile, here with Mark Darwin again, he's just dropping back a bit. In fact, the gap fluctuated between 4.1 and 3.8 seconds. So I have a gut feeling right now that Zephi might be actually just managing the gap. He doesn't want to push too hard. He is going for a no-stopper. Unless he actually is going for a stopper, then this is not the gap that he wants to do right now.
There's always a big Filipino contingent in eRacing GP. Welcome along, guys. Always good to have you here and to have your comments. Uriel Sumadabilia, he's another former bronze champion, but way down in P12 at the moment. Zuriel, how's he driving?
So far, just quite tentative. In fact, I don't think he's been involved in any collision because the car looks pretty clean. But right now, this first race is just a bit of a baptism of fire from him, because he's so used to cars that are much slower, like the Formula 4s, for example, that he won from the previous season. maybe he could try to just set himself into a rhythm in this race, because it's still a long way to go, and we don't know if anyone to do pit stops right now. If he conserves his tire as well, and everyone else in front of it pits, he will be in a good position to challenge at least for some good points in the top 10.
Yeah, pitting will begin, what, after the 20-minute mark? Or, yeah, it's got to be after the 20-minute mark if they are going to come in.
25 if you were being a bit, like halfway through the race, we're being honest. Because if you want for a very, well, I could say vanilla, or the common strategy is to go halfway mark and then go for the next halfway point of the race to finish off the race. But right now, I don't think anyone's thinking about the pit stop. I think around maybe 15 minutes to go, we might see some people coming for the pits.
With Harry Zeffy with such a big lead, let's just go round the circuit. Out of the race, I'm afraid, is Clint Olive. Clint from Iron Force Racing in the Porsche. He is in the pits. It's a pretty Porsche, but it's in the pits. Naufal Mohammed is last in the group, the man in pink in P19. Darren Ivan in P18. I tell you what, I'm loving the liveries in these vehicles this season. And Tony Falk is trying to move up from P17 to 16. That's Azuka Langley who is trying to overtake there. Azuka just manages to hold him off.
And in fact, this is one of the very few female drivers we've had in the series so far, as Tony Falk goes to the inside. Asuka just goes slightly wide there. She saw him coming, but unfortunately couldn't defend. And now Falk just took that like a candy from baby. Asuka then debut in this particular championship debut in her championship for the first time here. But she is an experienced sim racing driver, and she races a lot in Japan.
At the moment, though, down in P17. Great looking livery on that Porsche, but the drive not quite there. Hasn't set a oh no, she has a 2:10.10, her best valid lap so far. Let's compare that with the race leader, Harry Zeffy, 2:04.12. 2:04.12. He is 2/10 quicker than Mark Darwin, and he's nearly a full second quicker than fourth place Voltaire Sayco.
Wow, wait, setting the pace indeed. But the gap has not increased that much. In fact, it's just within that 3.8 to 4.1 second delta that I mentioned earlier. Looks like he is managing this race. And knowing this guy, and I've raced against him before, he just likes to go for a no-stop if he wants to, because his tire conservation is just something else. But I could be proven wrong, because this is a different kettle of fish. The cars that we drove in, like last year where we had a local tournament, those were touring cars, and those chew front tires like chewing gum anyway. So this might be a stopping race, unless we see beyond halfway mark he hasn't thought about going for a stop.
Coming on to lap number 8 is Harry Zeffy. As he goes over the start finish line, his lead is 3.8 seconds, 4.2 seconds indeed, as they go over the start finish line. So this is pretty good. Rinaldi as well. We waxed lyrical with Rinaldi Edo Carteran in the endurance race last week, because he has got endurance abilities and he drove really well, the Indonesian. Driving pretty well here, and you can't count him out.
What car did he drove last time for the endurance? I think it was a BMW. Maybe it was a BMW.
He was in the BM.
Okay, so yeah, he'll feel right at home here right now, because this is kind of like a bit of a sprint race. In fact, last time it was 4 hours, this is just 40 minutes. He could do a no-stopper as well, because if he could actually just conserve the tires like he's doing right now, he's not really pushing it, he could go through to do a non-stop as well.
Behind them, there's a bit of a race emerging. Voltaire Sayco is leading Amitesh Niogi, Triple L, and Kelvinder Singh. Kelvinder not a million miles away from that little group of 3 ahead of them. And as I keep saying, 25 minutes to go. A lot can happen in 25 minutes.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, right now, a 3-way battle could easily become a 4-way, because the way that they can chop at each other or just follow each other around so closely, a battle could easily bring someone else into play. In fact, Kelvinder is in the right spot right now. He has no one right behind him in the close vicinity. At least he's about 4 seconds ahead of Jun Cheng-eung. So right now he's in good position to actually get at least up to 5th place if anything were to happen to the drivers right in front of him.
Round corner 12 and 13 as they come onto the long straights. We're focusing on the lower placing, simply because the man who's in the lead is just going further and further away. As the race reaches its conclusions, we'll get back to Harry Zeffy. Let's see if Kelvinder is able to close the gap on Triple L, Amitesh Niogi and Voltaire Sayco. Look at that, we've got Malaysia, Hong Kong, India and Philippines all represented on the eRacing GP.
And don't forget the 2 Australians. We know we have 1 Australian out of the race already. But yeah, this is a truly international championship. We got so many drivers here, and this is only silver class. We have to enter the gold class. We see more representation right there.
Indeed, just to please you, there is Dave Smart from Australia. 15th at the moment, under pressure from Hong Kong's Tony Fock. Tony wears that, the livery of the pink, black, and it's the Hello Kitty livery, isn't it?
Yep. And right behind him is the other Asuka, who's actually by right she's running the same colors as she would in actual other esports tournaments, because she likes an anime called Evangelion, and her favorite character is Asuka Langley, same namesake. So same color, but not quite the same livery. But nonetheless, she's happy that she got the color. As we look at just now, I was about to mention that Dave Smart looked like his car was crabbing a bit, probably a bit of suspension damage, I believe.
As he comes down the hill, he's driving pretty smoothly, being able to keep the distance between them. Mohammed Khalif is the man who's just in front of him. Mark Voltaire, Elman and Zuriel Summer-Debelia. Let's go back and visit the race leader, Haris Zephi. He's rather enjoying himself. Where's his nearest rival? There he is, just coming into the straight now. That shows you how big the lead is as they go into turns 11 and 12 towards the tail end of lap number 9. Haris Zephi has led from the very start. He was fastest in qualification, has not been led at any stage in this race, Amo.
He's thrown the gauntlet for sure, Des. And if anything, after the close calls that he had in the 2 seasons he had from Copper and Bronze, he wants a championship, and he wants it badly. And judging by how he's going right now, this is a perfect time for him to actually put his foot to the floor and try to get that elusive championship for him.
25 points available for the race winner, as well as points available for the fastest lap. This is the first of 5 rounds of season 4. So Haris Zephi is looking to get off to a good start, because once you get off to a good start, momentum builds and you can force your way through. Further down, Triple L is having a look at Amitesh Niogi. Triple L in the slipstream. Oh, he goes on the inside. And gets it completely wrong and decides to go into the pits.
Well, actually, I think that was his intention, but he didn't expect Niogi to be actually right in his way. And just because, due to the fact we've had accidents before in Formula 1, for instance, where the pit lane is just that much closer, is just too close to the racing line. You can end up rear-ending somebody. And Niogi nearly became a victim to Triple as he's coming to the pit. So luckily we avoided that, only just
from Triple L. Leon Leo Young, former bronze champion. Haris Zephi, well, he's not going in. So for those who are making that pit stop, and they're doing it exactly halfway through, they come back out on fresh tyres, and you're expecting much, much faster lap times. For example, who went in? Tony Fox, fastest lap. He hasn't set a valid lap time so far.
Yep. And because due to the fact that you can actually run these cars wide with so much runoff, as Alistair alluded to earlier in one of the Copper class races, like right here, you can literally go so wide, and it's just like as Mark Darwin explains, showing us there, you could get your lap time related immediately. You can go through a whole race without recording a lap time at all, but it's still valid as long as you don't actually cut too much of the track.
Darwin's last lap was a 2:05. It's not the smoothest here. The black stuff, Mark, is what you're meant to be racing on, not the green stuff.
Yep, and luckily for him as well, like mentioned also in one of the hot laps earlier, we don't have a virtual drain that can come off and damage your car, like what happened to Juan Pablo Montoya in 2005, where his McLaren just ran over it and it was enough to damage the underbody. So Mark can run the risk of actually going white there and could afford to get away with it. But unfortunately, the penalties in the game will actually penalize him for that one.
7-Star Garage on Facebook asking, Azuka's here? Yes, she is. Go Azuka, says Oi87. Little bit of sexism coming in. Nothing wrong with that. As coming into the pits is Mark Darwin. Now then, that's interesting. Mark Darwin is into the pits. Thoughts on that, Amo Hazik? Does that mean Haris Zephi almost inevitably has to come in and make a pit stop later on?
He might respond to that because this is an undercut that Darwin's trying to do right now. But if the tire wear is any much more severe, then Zephi has to come in, because doing an undercut is the way to go if you have a high tire wear race. And right now, the only other drivers that come in? No, actually only Darwin is the only one that's in right now, along with, looks like Niogi's also in, and Sayco. So plenty of drivers actually coming through the halfway mark. And I apologize, that was a 15-minute race, so it's a 40-minute race. And yes, they're coming through exactly the halfway point of the race. There is Niogi. in the BMW, changing only the rear tires. Front tires are not really as affected. You could save a lot of time without having to change all 4 tires.
Mark Dondekembe also in there. He had a decent qualification, was in 3rd place, but is now down in 15th. It'll all sort itself out, but Haris Zeffy stayed out there. Harris's lead is 9 seconds over Ronaldo Edo, who also stayed out there. Rinaldi Edo, apologies, Rinaldi. Voltaire Sayco moves up into P3. So we've got Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines. Love the internationalism.
Absolutely. And speaking of internationalism, for the Japanese, we got Asuka Langley Shinigami in 10th place. So big up to whoever's supporting her right now. And if she's doing a no-stop, she is in an absolutely good position to score some valuable points to start the season with.
Porsche is looking good, and the racing line is pretty clean. Fastest lap time for Asuka is a 2:06.998, so just inside 2:07. She's probably 3 seconds off the pace of the top guys, but creditable all the same, as Darwin has come back out, and Darwin re-enters the race in P11.
And I believe he might have changed only the rear tires, because it's not like touring cars where you had to change the fronts because it chews on them so fast. The rear tires is what you have to be concerned with when you're driving a rear-wheel drive car, and to save time, just change the rear tires. So the front tires you can actually last towards the end. As now there he is. That's Zeffy coming to the pits now. So he has not done a no stop. So it is proving to be too much. And by the looks of things, he's changing all 4 tires.
Haris Zeffy, this is going to be a longer than anticipated pit stop for Haris Zeffy. It means Rinaldi is the new race leader. We were on board there with Haris Zeffy. We'll just, where is he? How much time has he lost? He's down into P5, P6. So when he comes out, it'll be maybe P7. Long pit stop this, Ammo.
Yes, and indeed, the fact that, he just dropped, the jack just dropped just now, thanks to the invisible pit crew working behind the scenes. Where is Darwin? That's the crucial part. There's Zeffy coming to the pits. Darwin's just coming across the line right now, and Zeffy holds on to the lead, the net race lead, if pit stops with the cycle itself. And Darwin is just only 5 seconds, so the gap stays as it was before both of them made their pit stops. So the undercut doesn't really work. The overcut just about works. So it just happens to be like the way you drive in the initial stages. So tire wear doesn't seem to be an issue here.
Mark Darwin was hoping to maybe get a little bit closer, but disappearing over into the Shanghai distance is the genuine race leader, Haris Zeffy, officially down in P9. But Rinaldi has stayed out. Now then, is Rinaldi gambling on a no-stopper? Would that be a possibility?
Well, it would be a possibility if he, one, doesn't go off the track, like going onto the grass here. We don't have much gravel anyway, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But if he's gone off wide or he scrubbed the tires too much, then he might have to take a pit stop. Right now, he holds a 40-second delta to Zeffy, and we saw just now, it's about 40 to 50 seconds in the stop. So Rinaldi has to make his decision soon, otherwise he will lose too much time on track when the tires are starting to wear out. And by judging by the trajectory, he's coming in right now. And no, he's not. So I thought that was coming because normally drivers who come into the pits don't go that wide before they come into the pit lane. So these drivers, the Filipinos and one Indonesian right now, are actually staying out for the moment.
Yeah, Voltaire Sayco stayed out. Zuriel Sumadabilia, he is currently in 3rd place. Let's see what kind of a line he takes in. Sumadabilia has not been in for a pit stop this time. He's not in for a pit stop either. Tell you what, these 3, Ammo, look like they're making a gamble, as is Mark Voltaire Elman, as is Segulo's gone in. Who's behind there? So that's also Zuriel Sumadabilia in P3. Mark Voltaire Elman currently in P4. Is he in the similar livery? Seb Tagulo in P5 in the Porsche. Yeah, similar livery to Asuka. That's what I was just getting a little bit confused by.
Yep. Well, luckily the numbers are different because she was running number 30 while he's running number 31. Again, isn't that number 30 is also a reference back to the anime that she really supports, and I think she's gone to the pits because she's dropped to 10th. So she's making the pit stop, so she can't make the run for it to go no stop all the way. As Triple L, that Audi is looking really second-handed.
Uzair Yusuf is on Facebook. He's saying, come on Haris and come on Asuka as well. And it's fair enough. Haris has got himself up into, well, he's still in P8. So the gamble really might be from the front 3 or 4 that they can go a full 40 minutes without a pit stop. Haris Zeffy has made his pit stop. His back time was a 2:45.6. His fastest lap of the race, 2:03.9. The only guy, or the only racer inside 2:04.
Well, inside the 203s, yeah, that's a fast time. In fact, we can see, like, if the gold drivers were to be driving this car, we could almost reach a 202. So he's within that ballpark. But right now, he's chasing shadows, and he's chasing the Delta. He's 37 seconds behind Rinaldi Edo, who has not stopped yet. In fact, here he is. He's coming into the stop now. Looks like a no stop isn't possible in Shanghai, at least.
Voltaire Sayco stays out. Loses the back end a little bit. Voltaire Sayco will become the new race leader de facto, but will he stay out? 12.5 minutes to nurse those tired tires. That would be a big gamble. Summer Debelia. What's Summer Debelia doing? Summer Debelia stays out there as well. Maybe it's something in the Filipino air that says, let's go for it. Let's really risk something. Summer Debelia, former bronze champion, now in P2, but 18 seconds adrift of his compatriot Voltaire Sayco.
He was too far away to be in contention for a race victory anyway, but he's looking here for a good result. And the fact that with so many of the drivers having shuffled through the pit stops, he might be looking at here, if he's doing a no stop, a very good potential second. And if he does stop, he will be looking at least still within the top 10. So he's got nothing to lose here. He just has to keep the car pointing in the right direction.
So 3 Filipinos, 1, 2, 3. Do you think there might be some skullduggery and team ethics if they all decide to stay out? Maybe Mark Voltaire Elman will be the destroyer-in-chief for Haris Zeffy as he makes his way through the field.
Oh, that would be quite the controversial take there. But we saw before, like in the previous season where it was in the TCRs in Copper, where Zeffy fell victim to a team play. So it might not be out of the question here, but we're still only in the first race of the season. It might not happen yet, but yeah. If these three were to stay out to nurse their tires, these guys would be defending tooth and nail to hold these positions.
Andrew Turson on Facebook says, "Go Philippines!" Quite right too. They are in 1, 2, 3 at the moment. But Haris Zeffy, Amo, is making headway. He has got Tony Fock, I think, in his sights. So Haris is driving pretty quickly. His last lap, 2:03.7.
Wow, wait, that's the fastest lap of the race. In fact, I think, yes, it is.
Yes.
It is the fastest lap of the race. So he is making hay while the sun shines. So 29 seconds. This is too late now for the front three, the Filipinos, to make a pit stop now. They're gonna have to nurse these tires all the way to the end. And depends how much that Zeffy is actually catching on them through per lap, which is, I think, about 2 seconds a lap. So this is gonna be close towards the end of the race.
It might be even more than that because it was a 2:07.9, so 2:07.1 for Tony Fox, so it might be 3 seconds plus. Haris Zeffy right on the tail there as they come into corner number 16, and Tony Fox stays out there. Haris has had his pit stop, but he's got the slipstream. Haris goes on the outside, and Haris Zeffy is looking to move up into P5, Amo Azik.
And it becomes the inside light coming to the first corner, Des, and there it is, P5. So looks like it is a 50-50. If you got a good gap prior to the stops, you can afford to do a no stop. But if you've got a compromised race like what's happened to Tony Fock as well, then you might as well just try to go through for a stop and have fresher tires towards the end. Zeffy, on the other hand, he's been on the primary strategy, having a good start, good lead, coming to the pits, and he can just side his way through the pack. Right now, 27 seconds might not look so far away for the guy in 5th place.
Particularly, so 2:05. Voltaire Sayco's last lap was an invalid time. It would have been good just to work out how quick he's getting, because what have we got? We've got about 5 laps left, perhaps 6. 5 laps I think is probably most, so 5 laps, 28 seconds. He's got to make up more than 5 seconds a lap, Amo. That is huge.
That is huge. And in fact, that catching is one thing, but also passing is another. That's the tricky part, because you're gonna be pushing, and you're gonna be pushing hard with those tires that you have now, and you still have to have some left once you get to the guy. So this is still not over yet. Sayco might just still be in a prime position, and with his teammates in the same country right behind him defending, he might still get this win by the skin of his teeth.
Alexis Lopano says he doesn't know what the Filipino boys are thinking, to be honest. And Lopano's a bit of a nutcase himself if he's thinking that. My word, what are Voltaire, Summer Debelia and Mark Voltaire Elman thinking? This could be a fascinating finale.
Intriguing strategies going on right now, indeed. These guys right now are the no-stoppers, and including Khalif, who is also Zephy's teammate in the endurance race. He probably will give him an easy way through anyway. So 4th place ideally right now would be where he is. But this is...
They're staying out, mate. They're staying out.
Okay, they are going for the no-stop. There's no doubt about it. They are now going for a definite no-stop. How has this race has actually gone really... it's gone beyond the boil. The thermometer has exploded. This is heating up really nicely.
So basically, Ammo, you didn't predict this. That's what you mean.
I only predicted the fact that I thought Zephy would be the one to go for a no-stop because he's known to do that. But the Filipinos are the ones that are doing his strategy. So, yeah, this is really coming from left field completely.
Kenzie Lai says, go Mark Darwin. Mark has got himself up into P7, but he's lost a little bit of time on Harris Zephy. Every time we go to Mark, he seems to be eating the grass on the side of the circuit. But he's still a very respectable P7 in this his eRacing GP debut. In fact, this his sim racing debut, I'm understanding.
Yep, and MCS champion can transition well here. He is one to look out for if he was to graduate up to the goal after this. And when you say eating the grass right now, that's actually pretty much like the typical line where you try to cut a bit of the circuit to get a better line coming out of the corners. But not too much, considering how much tire wears here. And, well, he's going really well. P7 for him, even though it's a net P2 if everyone stopped, it's still a very respectable debut indeed.
Here you go. Harris Zephy made 5 seconds up on the race leaders on the last lap. He's got to do that every lap. Harris Zephy is lapping 2:04.1s. Voltaire Sayco's last lap at 2:07.5. So he's not slowing down too badly. He could just hold on, Ammo.
Yeah, maybe he could. And the fact that he got, again, I mentioned before, he's got his teammates to defend him. So they'd be happy if any one of those Filipinos will win the race. So Zephy's got an obstacle to get through right now before he could get to Sayco. So how many seconds right now? 22.5 seconds with just about 6 minutes to go. Oh, there's going to be a close one. This is going to be too close for Zephy to call here to try and get the win.
I'm enjoying the bravery of Sayco, but you must remember, Zoriel Sumadabili and Mark Voltaire Elman have got to be passed as well by Harris Zephy, who's got himself up into P4. Harris Zephy is there in P4. Behind them, in front of him, he's got Elman, but he's 3.5 seconds down. This is going to be close. 3 laps left, maybe. The gap is 22 seconds. It's going to be about 6 seconds a lap. 6, 12, 18. Even that might not be enough.
Yeah, in order to get him right now, he needs to be 7 seconds a lap faster than Sayco just to get by him, just to get close to him coming to the last lap. And even then, he will still need to find a way to get past him. So time is against Zephy right now to actually claim a win here. A pit stop that looked good initially has now turned against him.
Little bit further down, Wei Xiong is struggling in P14. We'll just give a bit of attention to Wei Xiong and Azuka, who is battling for P15 points right the way down to P15. So on debut, she may well be able to pick up a point. Naufal Muhammad is behind them. Dave Smart struggling in 17, and Darren Ivan also struggling up in the front though. Let's really talk about Voltaire Sayco and see if this crazy strategy would work. Can those tyres last for a full race? Asked Kenzie Lai. We'll find out in a very short time, Kenzie.
Wow. This is really pushing their luck here. And if this strategy would work, a lot of drivers might stand up and take notice and might try to do this in the future. So we might have potentially a lot of people not doing stops at all. But it is a crazy strategy. You need to have a really good level of tyre conservation to pull this off.
Harris Zephy inside 19 seconds. Remember, this season eRacing GP is raising funds to support charities, helping communities hit hardest by COVID-19 in this region. You can help by visit simplygiving.com and search for Race for a Cause. Simplygiving.com, Race for a Cause. And this is a race for, well, a remarkable cause. If Voltaire Sayco is able to hold on, Harris Zephy still 19 seconds down, but Harris Zephy is on the shoulder of Mark Elman. So Harris makes his move. He's looking for a podium at the very least. Mark Voltaire Elman tries to edge him out. Haris Zeffy can't get through on that long straight, and Mark Voltaire Elman holds him up and frustrates the Malaysian once again.
In fact, we're looking at here, the split screen replay there. He had the line on the inside there. Elman just ran wide. Oh, Elman spins! Elman has spun at the first corner. So Voltaire Elman in his defense, trying to hold off Zeffy, has actually spun it around, and now he's gotten a clear way up to third with second right in his sights. Sumidibia now has to hold on for dear life here if he was to hold on to second.
But the overall gap, Voltaire Sayco has done brilliantly. His last lap was a 2:08, and Harris, although was a 2.5, he only lost 3 seconds. So Voltaire, providing those tyres do not disintegrate on him, he may well, if he can just hold on for another 3 seconds plus the lap and a little bit of a puff from the rubber comes up behind him. How does the handling get affected when the tyres get this worn, Ammo?
Well, I've driven actually tyres, and it's in the same car incidentally during the first season where the tyres were completely shot. In fact, if you didn't drive any harder, you will survive a puncture at least. But the tyres will be absolutely awful. The car just doesn't want to go where you want, and when you put the power down to the ground, the car just acts up and just wants to spin around. So right now, that car is not something that you want to be driving. But if you're in the lead, you just want to hold it on for dear life.
Mark Voltaire Elman was in 5th place, but he's been over 3rd place. He's been overtaken by Harris and by Mohammed Khalif, and he's really struggling. Here's Mark Voltaire Elman now. He's struggling with the tyres. Khalif, good performance from Khalif. He's stayed the course, and he has got himself up into P4.
And also another one of those drivers who has not done a no stoppers. So, because by right, Darwin should be up there with these guys, but these guys who are in front of him are the guys who have not stopped at all. So, for Darwin, and unfortunately, he has actually dropped behind Triple L. I think, he was in P8 the whole time, sorry. So, yeah, he has not done well. What happened? That's Sumudibia! Sumudibia has actually spun in the pit lane! Wow! Whatever happened there? I think we can get a replay here from where Zeffy's view. I think Sumudibia tried to actually get into the pits on really, really worn tires, and he spun around. He's actually binned it in the pit entrance. So, disaster there for what looked like was a promising 1-2-3 for the Filipinos.
There is Sumudibia into the pit lane, and you're quite right. So Haris Zeffy up into P2. So he's got through 2 of the Filipino obstacles, but he's got 13 seconds to catch up. Voltaire Sayco will nurse this one carefully. Protect his tyres, protect his lead. Doesn't matter whether it's 1 second, but it's coming down. It's 12.8 at the moment.
No!
Oh no, Voltaire!
I think it is a puncture! It is a puncture! Looks like the car has actually cried enough. And Zeffy now, he's only 9 seconds between him and Sayco. So this is going to go all the way down to the last corner, because this is, I think, the last lap, because Sayco crossed the line with just 2 minutes left to go. It could be anybody's race here right now, but the tires have given up. You can see a bit of sparks there. That's a bit of the afterburner, the exhaust blowing it. But the car has cried enough. The tires have punctured.
Elman gets a drive-through penalty to add insult to injury, and Haris Zeffy is closing. The kill is on. The prey is in his sight. Haris Zeffy is lurking. He is moving. He can see the tasty morsel ahead of him, and that morsel is called Voltaire Sayco.
And that's Shinigami there. Asuka just stopped on the road. I think that car just cried enough as well. Maybe the tires enough. This is it. This is the last lap. This is coming towards the last 2 corners. Can Sayco make it? No, he doesn't. He runs wide. And Zeffy takes the lead right at the death. It's a clutch win for the Mercedes driver.
He timed it to perfection. He had a little bit of fortune. The victory goes to Haris Zeffy Syahmi. A brave battle from P2 Voltaire Sayco. He took the gamble, and the gamble so nearly came off. In the end, a brave 2nd place and 20 points nonetheless. Mohammed Khalif has got himself up into P3 as he looks back at Tony Fock in P4. Triple L, Leon Leo Leung will come home in 5. Ung Jun Cheng 6. Debutant Mark Darwin will finish in 7th. Rinaldi in P8. But Voltaire Sayco is the man who takes the first race of the Season 4 eRacing GP Silver class.
Sorry, was Zeffy that took the way? Yeah, Sayco just actually got his win stolen at the penultimate corner. He thought he had it there. He tried to come in slowly, but unfortunately the tires, it was the front right, I think, that actually punctured. So that's why he couldn't turn properly. And that proved to be costly. And, well, costly in terms of getting the race win, but second place to start of the season will be a nice way for him to start it off.
On Facebook, Alexa Tlabano is saying, good effort, LOL. And that's fair enough. It was brave. Nobody called it. Nobody called the no-stop strategy. Voltaire Sayco had the oomph to go for it and so nearly picked up the win. But as you say, 20 points for second place is very impressive in its own right. Amo has Zeke with the commentary and Alex with the commentary in there as well. Great effort from both of you. Great to get the inside info. But neither of you, even in your expertise, I think were expecting a no-stop strategy. Alex is back in the chair, and Alex, in the end, it didn't work, but my word, it was fun watching him try.
Oh, Sayco got so close to it. I didn't think anyone would go for the no-stop strategy. But, you know, I can't help but feel like 5 minutes ago when Sayco had a 16-minute second gap, he should have just backed off even more. So close to almost made that happen.
Could have, should have, would have, didn't.
Yep, true.
Haris Sefi takes the race and the fastest lap. That's a very nice return for the first race of a new season. Sayco second, Khalif third. Hong Kong coming through fourth and fifth. In these longer races, finishing invariably picks up points. Jun Cheng Ung in sixth. Mark Darwin on debut in seventh. Rinaldi in P8. But terrific way to start the season, Alex. It's I normally whinge when I look at your longer race. I go, oh, it's not going to be exciting. I'm wrong every time.
Yeah, well, that was a really good race. I'm glad we got the tyre wear. So we want to introduce strategies, right? So we have to time the tyre wear so that you can have a mixture of strategies. So that was a really good mixture. But I thought I'd got the tyre wear wrong. I thought, okay, everyone's going to one stop. So excited to see Suma Dabila and Sayco try and do a no stop. And Sayco was so close, so close.
And Mark Voltaire Elman as well. Let's not forget, for the Philippines, it was 1, 2, 3 for a long time.
Yeah, so they almost made it work. So exciting racing. We could see that that's what we want to see on sim racing, don't we?
It certainly is. Listen, we'll work out the points totals and we'll post them online. Our scorers are onto that as we speak, but obviously there might be 1 or 2 protests still coming in. And coming up after the break, we move to the creme de la creme, the gold class. We're going racing with eRacing GP Global Edition Season 4.